Hello everyone, in this video I am going to show you how to create this watercolor sunflower illustration in the app IBIS PAINT X. First of all, I am now opening a 3:4 ratio 3K canvas and using the drawing paper rough 3 background texture. Now using the felt tip pen hard brush and ellipse tool, in the first layer I am going to create some basic shapes that will help us to draw the sunflower. Here you can see I just draw a simple ellipse. Now I'm going to duplicate this layer and I'm going to increase its size like this. So this is just to like a basic outline for drawing the sunflower. In the final illustration, these shapes will not appear, so don't worry, and you can make mistakes and you can do everything in this layer. So now I just merge these two layers, taking off the ellipse tool and drawing like this. This is going to be our inner part for the sunflower, and here comes the outer part. It simply looks like a speaker shape. Now I feel like we should change here a little bit using the special lasso eraser tool. I erased and now okay, it looks good. Now I'm going to reduce the opacity of the layer, and in the new layer I'm going to draw the sunflower. So I'm naming this layer as sketch. So this sketch is very important. Using this sketch we're going to draw the entire sunflower and use the watercolor, everything. So just draw perfect as much as possible, as well as you can try to erase, redo, you can do all those things in this layer. So this layer is very much important. So here you can see I'm just drawing the sunflower petals like this. Here you can see based on the like direction I'm just drawing the petals. When the the speaker like shape is outward, I'm drawing the sunflower petals in the outward direction and like lengthy as much as possible like this. And I'm adding one more layer of petals like this in the gaps. Okay, now here comes that greenish, I don't know the parts of flower, so greenish outside part of that sunflower. So this something like petals like this is going to be smaller. And now I'm drawing the bottom part of the sunflower like this. Because I have already drawn the shape in a bigger size, I'm just reducing its size and drawing in medium size. Now this is my sunflower. Now you can delete this basic shape, and now I'm duplicating the sunflower and I'm going to position the duplicated sunflower in another direction. So first I'm just positioning the first sunflower like this. Then go to this layer, flip horizontally, then using the transform tool and positioning like this, little bit at the top, pointer towards the right like this. You can rotate as you wish, and here it is. Now I'm going to erase the overlaps. Here you can see this the first sunflower going to be more visible. So here there is an overlap. Now you can see I'm just reducing the first sunflower so that we can get the idea, and erasing the parts which are overlapping in the second sunflower like this. By viewing itself you will get the idea where is the overlap, where I should erase. So here like this. Now I increasing the opacity. Now you will understand. Yeah, like this. Now you can merge them together. So since this is our final sketch, I'm going to add the stem details, leaf details, everything in this sketch layer. Here you can see I'm drawing the stem for the first sunflower and then stem for the second sunflower. You can create some overlaps, no problem. You can erase it whenever you want using the lasso eraser tool, so don't worry about this. Here you can see I'm just drawing the leaves like this. You can see some more, so there are overlaps between the lines here. I will show you how to erase them easily without any confusion. So I'm adding leaf here, as well as I'm going to add a leaf at the top between these two flowers like this. Okay, it's almost ready. Now I'm going to erase some overlaps using the lasso eraser tool. Yeah. Now click on the lasso eraser and erase like this. You can erase wherever you feel there is an overlap, unwanted lines. Now I'm just reducing the opacity of this layer. It should be only visible in that way, and in the new layer I'm keeping the blending mode as multiply and using the lasso fill tool. Instead of lasso, you can also use the magic wand tool, increasing the opacity of the sketch layer and selecting the petals so that I can add the watercolor texture to them. I selected these are the petals I have selected. Now reduce the opacity of the sketch layer like this, and in the new layer, watercolor layer, I'm going to use the watercolor edge brush, and I'm going to use some like gradients of yellow and something between yellow and orange like this. You can make the big strokes or you can apply a simple small strokes like this. It's up to you wish. But the thing is how to use this technique. So you can see I applied the yellowish color there, and now I'm going to add some orangish color at the bottom, so it's going to like a gradient of orange to yellow from the bottom to the top. So now the strokes, I applied these strokes using the watercolor edge brush, and now I'm going to use this watercolor mix brush to mix the two colors, like it's like a blending process in the watercolor. So now by increasing the opacity and size of the brush, you can blend them slowly or fastly as you wish. If you want to make a darker blending without any texture, you can keep the opacity of this brush at maximum. But if you want some textures like this, you can see some of the strokes shapes are visible here. That's because I have reduced the opacity of the brush so that it didn't blend them completely. You can see some strokes here and there so that to make like a realistic watercolor one. Now you can also change the color from yellowish to very mild yellow. Now using the watercolor water brush, I'm going to neutralize them little bit like this, make them more watery, like a transparent one. So like this you can do. If you want to add some more darkness, some more colors using the watercolor mix brush, you can add any shades here. If you want to add any details like this, any strokes, you can add using this watercolor mix brush. So the sunflower petal is going to have my details like a folded line, something like that. To add that details, you can use this brush. Now you can see how the sunflower looks now. Now I'm going to remove the selection, and using the magic wand tool I'm going to select the other petals in the front side as well as the petals which are between the other colored petals. Now reduce the opacity of the sketch layer, move back to the second layer where we have done the watercolor, and add the same kind of technique here, like dark oranges color at the bottom, yellowish color at the top, and then using the watercolor mix brush you can mix them, blend them together, and then using the watercolor water brush you can make it more kind of watery look. So like this, I'm just blending using the watercolor mix brush. So the main advantage of using this selection method is it will not affect the other details. When you are using this blending process, if you didn't use this selection method, it's gonna blend doesn't look, you can't feel the separate petals. So to get that real look, use this selection using either by the magic wand tool or using the laser selection. You can do this. So here you can see this is my sunflower petals. Now I'm going to select, I'm going to duplicate this. Now you can see why I duplicated this. Whenever you want to make any changes and redo that, you can have that copied one in hand, so that you can make all the changes without redoing the artwork completely. So I usually make a duplicate of the some important layers that I can use later on and make changes. So here you can see there are some empty lines that are formed while using the magic wand tool. So using the watercolor edge brush, I draw the stroke to fill that gaps, and using the watercolor mix brush I'm mixing them, making them blended and making it a petal instead of a separate stroke. Like this gives some definitions to the shape, petal shape. You can feel that stroke lines. Blend them as much as possible without affecting the other corner of that stroke. Here you can see I only blended the one side of the border, the stroke, leaving the another side of the stroke as it is, to maintain some watercolor raw look. So blending like this here and there, don't make symmetrical strokes, anything like that. It will not look realistic. So now using the magic wand tool, select this portion, and now I'm going to add the center brownish color details for the sunflower. So using the watercolor edge brush, I'm going to use some brownish color. Also drawing that center circle part. So here I'm going to use some brown color, like then biscuit kind of color and orange color, and then using the magic using the watercolor mix brush I'm going to blend them. To add more darkness, I am using the brownish color while blending, and if you want to make to milder colors, make the outcome, you want the outcome to be mild, use the milder color instead of the darker color. So that's the trick. So here you can see there are some white gap between the petals and the center part that formed while using the magic wand tool. You can blend them using once you remove the selection and using the watercolor mix brush, you can blend them like this. Okay, now my sunflower is ready. Click on the sketch tool layer and now duplicate the sunflower, flip them horizontally, flip it horizontally and position it like this using the transform tool. Okay, now it's look perfect, and here is the overlap. Now I'm going to erase the overlap using the lasso eraser tool. Now I'm going to draw the bottom part, so I'm going to use the green colors. For this I'm going to show you how to do the same process of watercolor without using the magic wand tool. Instead I'm going to use the lasso fill tool. Here you can see I'm selecting those areas fast using the lasso fill tool, just like a tracing process. I'm going to move above that lines and select those areas. Okay, you have to do this one by one. You should not select the entire area because it's gonna blend them completely and you will not get the desired shapes. So now you can see using the green color, like darker and lighter shades of green, and just made that colors, and now using the watercolor mixed brush and blending it, adding some mild yellowish color at the tip using the magic wand tool and the watercolor mixed brush. Okay, now it's ready. I'm going to do the same thing with the bottom part of that sunflower. Here you can see using the lasso fill tool I'm selecting those areas. So like this I'm going to select those areas. So here, and here. Don't miss any small parts. Now using the green color I'm making the watercolor edge brush strokes. Since I want some darker colors here, I'm keeping it as it is, just adding few more milder strokes of watercolor mixed brush. Now I'm going to do the same thing again for the leaves as well as the stem. So using the lasso fill tool, I'm selecting the stem shapes. Why you can't use the magic wand tool for the stem is because I have kept the stem part open at the bottom. If there is an open part and if you are selecting that particular detail using the magic wand tool, it's going to select the entire layer. So because the shape is open at one side, it cannot select in particular. So in that case you should use the lasso fill tool, lasso selection tool instead of the magic wand tool. Now using the watercolor edge brush, I'm adding the green color. You can see I also selected the center part, now like part of the leaves. Now using watercolor mixed brush, I'm adding some milder green color. Now clear the selection, and now I'm going to select the leaves. So if you want to add some more details, smaller minute details to the leaves, you can do while selecting using the laser tool. Here you can see I'm adding some more smaller leaf details while selecting the area using the laser fill tool. So everyone's way of the drawing is very different. So this is my style. This is how I learned the watercolor art on my own. So this I have not copied anyone's style. This is my own style. Doing multiple artworks, trying what works, what don't work for the watercolor, and I ended up here by using this technique. I select everything using the laser tool and then do the coloring watercolor textured coloring process. So this really works for me. But if you feel if you don't if you don't feel it works, you can try some other methods. But particularly personally, it looks perfect for me to use this technique. So here you can see once I colored the leaves using the laser tool, I am selecting these nerve details from the leaf and I'm going to erase it using the eraser tool. Why? Because instead of applying the lighter color or drawing with the brush, drawing nerve with the brush, I'm going to add the nerve details by selecting those nerve like details using the laser tool, and I'm going to use the watercolor bleed eraser and erase like this. You'll get the same details by doing this as well. So here I'm going to keep my background is as white. So if you are using any other background color, or if you're going to do this artwork and if you are going to use them for the pattern or something like that, you should draw these nerves instead of erasing it. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate the sketch layer as well, and now increasing the opacity of the sketch, and I'm going to color the sketch layer with orange and green color, because for the final artwork I'm going to consider these the sketch as well. So it's going to give my give my artwork some extra features, details, minor details. So I'm going to keep this sketch layer visible for the final artwork, but it was in the black color. To make it blend with the artwork, I'm just changing color using the alpha lock, and I'm changing the layer blending mode to color burn, and here you can see how the strokes color change here and there when I change it to the color burn mode. We consider the bottom artwork, so that color change like this, and here is my final artwork. I hope you like this tutorial. If you like, subscribe to my channel and try this. Tag me on Instagram and tag your work, and how I will understand how my tutorial helped you. Thank you.